Hi guys, this is Belinda, dressed up with my Easter wig, pretty pink, all the Easter colors, pretty. I jumped on here to do Lisa's Little's tag, and so Lisa Little is asking some questions. So, real or plastic eggs? Both. Both. Are we talking about when I was a child? We did eggs and we decorated them. They're usually little kits that came in a box. And you put dye on them. We did that. Mom would make egg sandwiches with it after, or we just threw them out. Sometimes we'd blow the egg out of it before we did we do that? I'm not sure, I can't remember. My kids were growing up. We painted some eggs, not a whole lot. We did actually the plastic eggs and put those out and about. Peeps or jelly beans, both. Peeps, always had Peeps, loved them as a kid. I found my kids didn't like them so much, so they were usually the sticky things that were left over. Lots of jelly beans. Had fun with the jelly beans that had different flavors, but that was when my kids were small. So mostly jelly beans. I know we had those big eggs with the white stuff in it. That wasn't a favorite. Yeah, it wasn't a favorite. Easter bonnet or big bow? Never a big bow. Always an Easter bonnet, like a hat sort of thing. You should call it a bonnet. Not a bonnet that like Little House on the Prairie bonnet, but a bonnet like, you know, a plastic hat type thing. Easter basket or Easter bucket? When we were growing up, it was always Easter baskets. Back then, Easter baskets were more made out of, not plastic per se, more of like a weird, I don't know what you'd call it, not straw, paper, kind of, I don't know what it was. I'm thinking about it. But yeah, we had more of those. When my kids were growing up, Sophia usually got a basket, Silas usually got a bucket. I imagine there was one year I got a bucket. It depended. I tried to get, for a few years there, I tried to get really nice baskets and then reuse them every year. Oop, I gotta put this back up so I can see. And reuse them every year because I wanted to, instead of just buying a new one every time and throw it out. So I got a few nice baskets that cost more than cheapos. And then just put them out every year. And the kids would put them out kind of like you're putting out your Christmas sock. Easter rabbit or chick. I'm going to sneeze. One moment. Guess I didn't. Always Easter bunnies. Chocolate Easter bunnies. Always chocolate Easter bunnies. Yes. Solid Easter bunnies. Very, very few times did we get the ones that were hollow. They were really expensive and they usually have characters. Got them a couple of times for my kids. I know we usually used to get, and I know in the mall they used to have these hollow eggs. They were chocolate and they were bigger and there would be someone there that would put someone's name on it and icing the name. And so that was always fun. But for the most part, it had to be an Easter bunny. Just had to be. Easter parade or egg hunt? Never heard of an Easter parade. I don't even know what an Easter parade is. Egg hunts, always had egg hunts. And they were always indoors. As a kid, they were indoors. For my kids, they were indoors. They were repetitively, usually in the same spots. That was exciting for the kids to remember where they were the previous years. And then you get, oh, I know where it is. It's in the footwear. It's always in the footwear. It's always on the window ledges. It's always in the drawers where the silverware is. And then you'd hide other things, right? And secretively, you know, and days later, they're still finding stuff. And we were still finding stuff. My dad was very interesting because he would be like, after we think we're all done, he'd be sitting there in the living room going, for some reason I'm thinking there's more in here. There must be more in here, right? Stuff like that. And we'd be like, well, how do you know? But, you know, Dad would do that. And then he would start finding them on his own. Oh, look what I found. He loved us running around trying to look for eggs. Egg dye or markers. Oh, we always used the dye. Yeah. And you had the little tiny plastic thing. You dip it in and dip it in. Sometimes Mom did it with food coloring. We didn't do the actual kits. The kits used to be so much better when I was a kid compared to when my kids were doing eggs. But yeah, very rarely. I don't remember doing markers at all, now that I'm thinking about it. I think it was mostly dye. Easter grass or no grass, always Easter grass. It was plastic when I was a kid, and it was plastic for my kids. Then it switched over to more paper Easter grass, like just a bunch of paper, which is a lot better because my cats were always getting into them and eating them and choking on them, and it was just terrible. So soon, I remember my kids, as soon as they opened up their stuff, it's like, get your stuff up, and a lot of times I would just take the grass. I would reuse the grass when my kids were small. I would try to reuse it, put the grass away with the Easter basket. Not always, but yeah, that's what I would do. Growing up, we got a new Easter basket, I'm thinking, every year. We got a new Easter basket every year, and all that plastic grass was everywhere. Sandals or dress shoes? I think you must be referring to as gifts and stuff, or maybe what you got. We didn't really get shoes. If we did, it would have been something like sandals. Our Easter baskets usually, and I usually followed suit of what I got when I was growing up, but for the most part, the Easter baskets usually consist of bubbles, skipping ropes. Sometimes my brothers would get, instead of a basket, they would get like a cowboy hat turned upside down with the whistle. Those blow-up Easter bunnies. You remember those blow-up plastic Easter bunnies? Some people would remember. You'd blow them up and you'd get different heights. We got those, and that was fun. Don't think my kids had them, but you used to be able to get them a lot. You'd blow them up and stand by the baskets. We got those. We would get sometimes, or I would get the ankle strawberry. You put it on your ankle, and the strawberry goes around. You can jump over it. We did that. What else? Maybe a coloring book or something like that stuck in there, but it wasn't anything major, just a few little things. And as for the candies and stuff, there was always an Easter bunny. We usually had Easter cream eggs, and yeah, Easter cream eggs, super expensive now, and they're so small now. They used to be big. I thought they were bigger. They shrunk. And yeah, and those eggs with the white things in it wasn't the favorites, usually eaten last. We had jelly beans. We had, I'm trying to think. I think the only real chocolate growing up was the Easter bunny. I can't think of anything else in there. Maybe little tiny Easter bunnies. Same with my kids. And inside the plastic eggs, I would put things in there, and then they would have to find them. Had to do that, or the dogs and animals would eat whatever was around the house, so you had to put them in plastic. Now, let me think what else was in the baskets. I feel like I'm missing something. Might get a ball, like a ball for outside, like spring toys, that sort of thing, spring toys. So anyway, guys, have a happy Easter on this Good Friday. All right, guys, bye.